you know, he made $100 million, you know, and he's his own boss. He can say and do what he wants to do, having a great team.
Yeah.
Because no one person can do it by himself. That was the core of the team.
Gotcha.
You know, and it was a tremendous sacrifice, you know, especially for me. I worked like 15 years straight, 7 days a week, 20 hours a day.
Wow.
You know, that whole middle part of my life,
Yeah.
it didn't exist. It didn't exist.
And now you have this egg on your face and things are falling apart. And now people are wondering, did you get screwed, or was it your own financial ignorance, and now you're bitter?
People taking shots at a great fighter, Mayweather. Probably the same people that were, applauding him and saying how great he was at one point, and now they're taking shots at him like they're almost, like they get pleasure out of seeing a great fall, potentially.
You're right,
fall.
but when you call yourself the money man, you do it to yourself a little bit too.
No, I can't argue with that.
Leonard Ellerbe just shared his thoughts on Floyd Mayweather blowing his $1.1 billion fortune and going broke. He says the outcome felt predictable. Having once worked closely with Floyd, he witnessed extravagant spending habits that eventually led to serious financial trouble.
I've been saying from day one what it is that, and then they know, everybody laughed at me. They laughed at me. They said, oh, you know, he just talking nonsense. I've been told, all of you guys.
Leonard Ellerbe explains that when Floyd Mayweather becomes extremely famous and successful, criticism naturally follows, and the real test lies in how he handles it.
At the end of the day, when you're on top, when you're at the top, you can expect criticism. It just comes with success, and it's all about how you handle things. And me personally, none of it is personal. None of it's personal.
Leonard Ellerbe just shared his thoughts on Floyd Mayweather losing his $1.1 billion fortune and going broke. He says the outcome felt easy to see coming. Having once worked closely with Floyd, he saw huge spending habits that later led to serious money trouble.
One who formed his own company.
Right.
But he was the first one that had a team surrounded by him, that our focus was the business and his focus was the boxing. And in turn, we built the brand, built Mayweather Promotions.
Yeah.
And Floyd became his own boss.
Wow.
And that was the key.
Leonard Ellerbe explains that when Floyd Mayweather becomes extremely famous and successful, criticism naturally follows, and the real test is in how he handles it.
Because he's still waiting on the 1.5 from Floyd Mayweather. He made this video simultaneously with the beef with Le'Veon, and I don't know, maybe it's coincidence, maybe it isn't.
Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao 2. The fight nobody asked for except me. I need this because if Floyd wins, he can finally pay me my $1.5 million. I don't care about the legacy fight. I don't care that these men have a combined age of 100 years. I care that Floyd Mayweather, the best boxer alive, uses those same hands that made him 100 million to Venmo me my money. And Floyd, if you're watching this, win it and pay me back or I'm gonna send my goons after you. Gotcha. Hey.
I really don't know why I watched that. Yeah, listen, dude. Logan is, again, functionally a coward for not doing this. I was really excited for it, too. I couldn't wait. That was about to be content, son. But, I mean, okay, yes, I understand if he is under WWE contract, they're not going to allow him to do.
Leonard Ellerbe says Floyd could have built a strong business career if he had taken his work seriously and made careful decisions.
Well, yeah, like you said, he was Mayweather, Money Mayweather, and now he's suing because he went through his money, blew his money, whatever. Look, I don't know what the truth is fully in there. I know Steven Espinoza was named. He ran Showtime at the time. He was named him. I never was a fan of Espinoza. Again, I'm not afraid to say and not mince my words when I feel a certain way. And I've taken arrows for it, and of course I've also taken some praise for it. That people say, hey, Teddy's going to say what he feels. I was never a fan of him. I never thought he was a man that kept his word. I never thought he really did a great job over Showtime. I mean, they put some good fights on because the fights were available, because the landscape made it.
Paul makes fun of Floyd Mayweather Jr., claiming he is still waiting to receive the unpaid $1.5 million from their exhibition fight.
But where Floyd is rich at right now,
What's that?
his peace of mind. When I send him things, like I send you things when it's pertaining to you, when he gets the time, he'll call me and he say, "Hey, Wack, what's that?" And I tell him. He said, that's nonsense. He said, well, as long as they trying to figure me out, they not gonna be able to figure out what they need to do. And he continues to move. I will say this without saying too much, that I've seen him pass on some big deals based upon business he already has on the table. But again, I've been to his home. I talk to him regular. He's my business partner.
Observes that those who once cheered for Floyd are now mocking him and laughing at his biggest fall.
He was seeing how much Floyd was making, right? And Floyd himself was flaunting himself like he was the guy who was making that kind of money. And for all intents and purposes, I assume he was. Everybody assumed he was, and it seemed like he thought he was, because he wasn't complaining. He was showing off, you know? This is why, as I get older, I feel like, and everybody always tells you this when you're young, like, keep your finances private, you know, and this is why I think this is a big reason why. First and foremost, you notice that if you don't keep your finances private, everybody and their mothers ask you for money constantly. And they don't ask you for...
That happens either way.
And they don't ask you, well, people assume you have money, but if you flaunt it, you definitely, they confirm you have money. And they don't ask you for money like you need to buy the Rolex or the Lamborghini. They'll guilt you into it. They need their mother's dying in the hospital. They need to pay for a funeral. Their kid is sick. Like, they guilt you into it, and you almost feel bad not giving it.
Wack 100 says Floyd Mayweather is not broke, claiming he is still rich in peace of mind and unaffected by gossip or others' opinions about his life and career.
That we are going to go through in this video. Now, I've been covering boxing for double-digit years. Allow me to take you through it. A simple Google search shows Floyd Mayweather. You type in his name, you're going to see some fight photos and whatnot. But the top stories, and there's multiple stories, and we're going to take a look at some of them. But as mentioned, Business Insider is now reporting what you see on the screen, that Floyd Mayweather is being accused in lawsuits of owing millions of dollars for luxury watches, gold, and rent on palatial apartment, right? The bullet points. Floyd was sued for allegedly failing to pay rent on a luxurious duplex in
Paulie Molan AGI says if Floyd Mayweather Jr. had kept his finances private, nobody would question his wealth. But constant public displays made everyone look closely at his money.
Represents the $500,000 in arrears plus late fees minus a deposit that Mayweather paid at the start of the lease and the $100,000 catch-up payment. So they deducted what he did submit when he was made aware of this, the $100K, and I guess a deposit. So the remaining balance is that. An attorney for Mayweather did not provide a comment by deadline. He has not responded to the lawsuit in court. In a separate legal matter, so we've already went over one with this luxury condo in Manhattan, right? But a separate legal matter, a Miami jeweler sued Floyd Mayweather last month, alleging the boxer owes more than $1 million for jewelry that he took but never paid for.
A boxing analyst breaks down the surprising financial downfall of Floyd Mayweather, a man once famous for showing off his wealth. Over the years, Floyd Mayweather worked with several key figures, including Steven Espinosa and Showtime, but now he is suing them for $340 million, claiming hidden unpaid money. While Ul Heyman, his longtime advisor, is not directly involved in this lawsuit, the legal fights are adding up for Floyd Mayweather. The analyst highlights that Floyd Mayweather's extreme lifestyle likely added to his problems. He had huge collections of cars, jewelry, and luxury apartments.
I don't know, like, there's guys who have a lot of money, okay? For me, I could go into a jewelry store, spend $20,000 at the time, like nothing. Like, you know what, I didn't plan on going there. I bought a Ferrari. I went to with my friend to go check out a Ferrari he was gonna buy. I went there and I'm like, I got this in my account, I could buy this right now. You know, like that, you know? And I'm not saying that's smart, what I'm saying is,
Your accountant must have loved you.
Yeah, really. But what I'm saying is, I got good money for that when I sold it.
I'm listening.
The used car market came back at the time. But anyway, what I'm saying is, it could go like that, okay? That kind of money. But bro, $340 million? That's not Ferrari, bro. That's a lot of Ferraris, a lot of houses.
But Floyd had a lot of Ferraris. And that's the thing about Floyd. Like, yes, is that way too much money? Yes, that's a crazy amount.
$340 million?
Expensive rent and unpaid bills started to pile up and lawsuits followed. A Miami couple owns the condo he rented, and reports show Floyd Mayweather fell behind on $500,000 in rent. Despite paying at first, he eventually stopped responding to attempts to collect the debt. According to analysts, the pattern of overspending, poor money management, and relying on others for financial decisions eventually caught up with Floyd Mayweather. The analyst explains that fame and fortune do not guarantee financial safety, and even top athletes can face bankruptcy if they fail to handle their wealth wisely.
Track of an entire fight price, more than one fight, multiple fight
at the height of your career.
$340 million. There's nights where you didn't make that much money in a night.
But we heard about stuff like this with Mike Tyson back in the day. Yeah. Big money losses, people taking advantage of him, a number of different things. Now, all that being said and done, 10 years is the point. That is the major point of all of this. Because when you look about this now, 10 years, where does this come from? It makes me think that someone's gotten in his ear. And maybe, where does this come from out of nowhere? Is he going through the books now, 10 years later? No, of course not. Someone else is. Someone else is probably telling him, hey man, this is like this, this is like that. So you
think it did happen?
I don't know. I think regardless of whether it happened or it didn't,
that's what I'm wondering.
Unless it's coming out of nowhere, unless he literally is just getting just he's
losing his mind because there's a lot of rumors about him losing money, right?
Losing money, being I don't want to say destitute, but the old saying, how the mighty.
Holly Molinaggi and Chris Algier break down how Floyd Mayweather, despite earning huge amounts, ended up in financial trouble. Polly Molinaggi points out that it is hard to imagine someone at Floyd Mayweather's level letting massive amounts of money just slip away unnoticed. He compares everyday spending like buying a Ferrari or shopping for expensive jewelry to the size of Floyd Mayweather's earnings. While smaller purchases can be absorbed, the amounts Floyd Mayweather handled were far beyond normal money management. Chris Algier notes that at the peak of Floyd Mayweather's career, losing track of even one fight's income could lead to big losses. Over multiple fights, these mistakes add up and errors build on each other.
But the fact that Floyd would encounter some financial issues post his boxing career is not in any way a surprise to me. When you see the types of things that, if you believe anything that he puts on his social media, the travel that he does, the places he goes, and the amount of entourage he has, that's like a money pit. Whether you're flying on private jets or you're staying at first class hotels or you're, buying expensive jewelry and cars and bags and you name it. It's all good when you're making those gigantic paydays and they're coming in, a couple times a year. You're making 40 million here and 25 million there, or even more, 100 million plus, when he fought the big mega fights with guys like Conor McGregor and Manny Pacquiao. But when that stops, that money doesn't, it goes.
Paulie Molinaggi compares it to past cases mentioning fighters like Mike Tyson who suffered huge financial losses due to poor management and people taking advantage of them. Both analysts emphasize that Floyd Mayweather's money problems did not appear overnight 10 years after earning huge sums. The news suggests someone may have warned him or is now reviewing his accounts. The discussion highlights that fame and wealth do not automatically provide financial safety even for the sport's biggest earners. You lost track of an entire fight payment. More than one fight, multiple fights at the peak of your career.
About the 340 million, it just didn't ring true to me because Al Heyman, who is not named in the suit, but apparently is supposedly part of this problem, whatever. But I've known Al Heyman and covered Al Heyman's fighters and his business since the day he stepped in boxing in 2002 with Vernon Forrest. And all that time, and literally in terms of the PBC, a couple hundred fighters that he's dealt with, maybe not personally, but that his team is and his company. To a fighter, you never hear anybody, even when they're retired and they're not with Al anymore, nobody talks bad about him. In fact, if you ask most fighters, they'll tell you how good to them that he has been. That type of money that they've helped him make and the person that he's paid and the guidance that he's...
Boxing journalist Dan Raphael explains that it was not surprising to see Floyd Mayweather facing financial struggles after his boxing career. According to Dan Raphael, anyone who followed Floyd Mayweather closely could predict this outcome given how openly he spent his wealth. His lifestyle was extreme and very visible, with private jets, luxury cars, expensive trips, and constant displays of wealth. Dan Raphael points out that Floyd Mayweather lived at a level few could imagine, and the world saw it all through social media interviews and videos.
According to TMZ, let's get to the TMZ. Floyd Mayweather sues Showtime, saying, "I'm missing hundreds of millions of dollars." Floyd Mayweather Jr. says he made over $1 billion in earnings over his legendary career, but the 50-0 fighter claims all the money didn't make it to his bank account. He is now suing Showtime, claiming they played a big role in his ex-manager screwing him out of hundreds of millions of dollars. In the lawsuit filed by Floyd in California and obtained by TMZ Sports, Mayweather says he's gunning to recover hundreds of millions of dollars in the misappropriated funds and damages resulting from long-running and elaborate financial fraud.
Dan Raphael emphasizes that this kind of spending makes financial trouble almost unavoidable. Even for someone as successful as Floyd Mayweather, unchecked expenses and a focus on fancy living can eat up huge earnings over time. Observers could see him traveling in style, buying luxury items, and maintaining a life that required high ongoing costs. In Dan Raphael's view, the situation serves as a lesson for athletes and celebrities alike. No matter how much money one makes, living beyond reasonable means can lead to serious results. The mix of visible waste, high costs, and long
those parties to see whether or not this is something that Floyd should have known about, or did know about, or maybe did not understand. Because it seems very, very funny that Floyd would not know that the money was getting paid to Al Haymon and not directly to him. Regardless, I don't know the outcome of that. I will talk about this though. The absolute blatant karma up in Floyd Mayweather's face for all the smack he talked about Muhammad Ali and how Muhammad Ali's name was only worth $50 million and he sold half of his name for $50 million and how he's made so much more money and that makes him all of that. Talked about how Muhammad Ali, I'm sure, or I don't know if he did, but I'd heard, talked about Floyd. Yeah, he did, because he talked about his money and how he had to sell his name because he didn't have his money.
Analyst Fannin breaks down the recent legal actions of Floyd Mayweather, explaining that after facing money difficulties, Floyd Mayweather decided to sue some of his former business partners. According to Fannin, despite earning over $1 billion across his undefeated career, Floyd Mayweather claims much of that money never reached his personal accounts. The lawsuit targets Showtime and former network president Steven Espinosa, accusing them of playing a role in alleged financial mismanagement by Al Haymon, Floyd Mayweather's longtime advisor. Fannin emphasizes that while Al Haymon is not named as a defendant, Floyd Mayweather says he received major help from Showtime and Espinosa in handling the funds.
The thing that's going on out there is phasing him, but get to him. He doesn't even control his social media. He doesn't see it. I'm telling you, he doesn't see it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's posting himself. He has someone that
doesn't see it. He doesn't pay any attention. When I need something done, I have to send it through different channels for it to get done. But no, he's definitely not. I mean, we know that. He has tons of businesses going on. They were making accusations that he didn't own the things he owned. You're not going to find nothing in Floyd's name directly. You're not going to find. When you're dealing with that type of money and those type of situations, you know this, Vlad, it's set up. It could be a foundation, a trust.
Yeah, shell companies, corporations, LLCs, whatever.
I know some of these people that they'll say they own 40 different companies, but what it is, they're part of an investment group.
The lawsuit claims that money from major fights, including those against Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor, was sent into accounts controlled by Haymon rather than reaching Floyd Mayweather. When Floyd Mayweather and his team asked for access to Showtime's financial records years later, they were told the documents were either lost or impossible to access, which added more suspicion of mishandling. Fannin points out that this case highlights the challenges even top athletes face in managing huge amounts of money. Lack of oversight, poor management, and trusting others can lead to massive losses, as Floyd Mayweather now says. The analyst stresses that Floyd Mayweather's choice to take legal action is an attempt to get back earnings he believes were wrongly